Hello, everyone. Melanie here, and you are tuning in to Style of Living TV. With the success of our first episode regarding mental health, here comes another heartwarming and engaging episode. I have invited a very special guest who is also close to my heart, and we are going to talk about his experiences and what made him successful. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm of applause to our guest, virtual guest from Korea. Hi.
Hello.
Yes, you will do the honor in introducing yourself. The floor is yours. Please
um,
introduce yourself.
so, okay, I'm not prepared to introduce myself well, but my name is Byung Gyu Park, and I'm originally from Korea, but I have stayed for about 7 years in the Philippines, not just in Manila, but also where Melanie is from, Iloilo City. And um, the the story behind why I decided to go to Manila or the Philippines is a bit complicated, but currently, maybe we can talk about it as the recording proceeds. Um, and currently, I'm writing a book, and hopefully, I'd love to appear on the TV and become an opinion leader in Korea who, influences people's minds and ideally mm, make changes through more accurate and more analytical data and information. And so, yeah, that's pretty much of it. I'm currently living in Seoul, and um, what else?
Okay, that's it for now. I will ask many questions later. So, to our audience, so you have met Park Byung-gyu, and he is currently residing in his home country in Korea. But as what he said, he lived in the Philippines for more than 7 years, right? So, let's get to know him better. I have this first question for you. We met because you were my student before.
Yes,
And later on, we became friends.
yes.
Now, first
Mm.
question. Please tell us about your experiences or the times while living in the Philippines as a student.
As a student.
Mhm.
Maybe I guess I can divide the question into two. And the first one is as a student in Iloilo City, and the second one is as a student in Manila. So I think I had pretty much the time in the time in Iloilo City was foundational in who I have become today in many ways. Um, First of all, I was at the critical age of my, how do I say, development. That
Mm-hmm.
I was at,
Teenage years,
yes,
right?
teenage years, and I couldn't speak English that much when I first arrived in Iloilo City. That's when I first met Melanie and other tutors with whom I could, conduct one-on-one studies. And basically, I was lazy to study. Teachers were eager to teach me, so um, so that I think also played out pretty well. They were trying to be good friends. I mean, trying to be more than a good friend, as a kind of a second mom since I was young, and as a foreigner, faced some of unexpected difficulties. So, um, yeah, we as we as we built our friendship, my how do I say, the way I see the world, the way I so a lot of things started changing, and a lot started um, accumulating in my life. So uh, life as a student in Iloilo City was pretty much foundational to me. So I got to say that I have in me the cultures of Iloilo City, in which discipline, hardworking, being future oriented, and being good natured person are highly valued. And I think I have digested and totally internalized all the values that people in Iloilo City love, and um, I can't thank enough for that, I think. And but meanwhile, or on the other hand, the life as a student in Manila was quite um, there were a lot of unexpected accidents and a lot of unexpected um, difficulties I had to experience as a student there. Um, yeah, maybe we can talk a little bit more about that in particular.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. You know, when we are talking right now, the memories started coming back to me. And now I can say, is this the student that we had before? Are my ears all right? Did I hear this right? I'm just so proud sharing your experiences and how you think of us as, you know, people in Iloilo so warm like that. We enjoyed your time in Iloilo, but let's go fast forward to a
Mhm.
time when you were staying in Manila. Can you tell us about the time when you were in Manila? What were the struggles that you experienced as a student, or anything you want to say, conflicts like that?
So I guess the experience that I'm going to have if I start my life in Manila once again right now, as if I have zero experience there and it's my first time getting there, then I'm sure a lot has changed, and I'm sure um, maybe what I'm saying is no longer relevant or um, relevant to people who are starting anew their life in Manila. But at least back then, it was not the easiest place where I could easily settle down, where I could um, easily make friends or um, yeah, have smooth sailing in my university life. I think one problem that I faced was that um, people had certain ideas about Korea, and they projected their expectations onto me. And with my experience and growing up in Iloilo City for 3 years, um, and together with some of the unique background that I have as a Korean, I felt I felt their expectations were quite different from what I could offer. They wanted that, or they expected that I can dance, I can sing like the K-pop stars,
Just like the
or
K-pop stars, yeah.
right, and maybe it's quite natural because they are, what do 16 years old or 18 years old college students want in the end? They are not mature enough to think about, okay, how am I going to live, or what kind of career would I want to have, or um, let's say like what is the what is so good about having discipline, or you know mm, let's say reading.
Those are deep questions.
Hmm.
What do college students know about that?
Yeah, maybe I didn't have to face these questions had I gone to the, let's say, the most studious university in the Philippines, but that was not the case. So maybe it was pretty natural for me to maybe it was inevitable that I encounter the day-to-day culture, that is what the day-to-day culture of Manila, and I was exposed in direct without protective barriers of the university. How do I say, the fences? Mm. So um, so basically the at the beginning, and so how I began my life in Manila was quite different from how it ended up. So at the beginning, I was I arrived late, so my classmates thought that, oh, we have a new classmate who's Korea, and they all liked me, and I was kind of the center of attention at the whole department at first, but that was because they expected that, oh, he looks like this, so maybe he's this type of person. On the other hand, I was quite serious and determined to, succeed professionally from that moment. I wanted to, you know, get the best grades possible, get a lot of achievements in order to, um, make, in order to step up to the next stage of my life. And that means rather than spending my time, talking about um, personal things or hanging out with friends on Saturday or Friday night, and you know, rather than being cool socially, I was quite serious in their eyes and being, doing and let's say, reading all the time, studying all the time. These kind of things are considered were considered pretty nerdy, and being a nerd naturally to them meant it meant to them being at the bottom of the social ladder. And so in some, Manila was pretty strict about social hierarchy, and it seemed as if that when you're the stronger person in an interrelationship, the environment that I was at, the school that I attended at first, pretty much valued celebrity culture. I don't know if that term exists, but they expected you to act like a celebrity. And once you fit into that small, how they say, narrow criteria, then you are considered to be popular. You get everything you want, and people respected you. But in my case, and maybe that's true. It's not just about Manila. Maybe it's true, equally true in many other parts of the world. But what gave me a lot of difficult times, I think, is are two things. First one, I didn't fit into that mold intentionally. I by the time I arrived in Manila, I was pretty determined that I'm not going to waste my parents' money. That I have decided to go to Manila instead of going directly to the United States, for instance, because I had a plan to you know achieve this, achieve that, grade and achievements outside of the school, to use those achievements to show that, okay, this is the kind of student that I am, and this is the professional potentials that I have as a person, and I deserve to get the scholarship as a transfer into that, let's say, school in the United States. I had that strategy in my mind, so I thought maybe this is the time of my life that I should be really determined without indulging myself into any kind of desire that I have, whether it's about sleep, whether it's about, going out with friends and, having, fun time on Saturday night. So I intentionally rejected that. And I thought, at least in my expectation, I thought that's what people in that university would be like. I didn't expect, I mean, how would no matter how much I prepared to, do well, before leaving for Manila. How was I supposed to know that these kind of um, differences in perspectives, values, and what they want at that moment as a 18-year-old student.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so basically, I didn't talk to the popular kids. I intentionally stick to um, the nerdy group because I
Mm-hmm.
thought, well, I can learn a lot from these. Instead of spending my time talking about girls, guys, I could maybe talk about more deep and academic stuff with them, and that's gonna be more valuable way to spend my time. So anyway, in sum, I intentionally rejected and went the opposite way to what everyone else where everyone else was going at that time. So um, that's the first one, and the second one was that the consequence of being at the bottom of the ladder, social ladder or the hierarchy was pretty dismal, pretty cruel.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to let's say the life in Iloilo City or the life in Korea, even if you're not the coolest person in the room, you are still treated as a human.
Mm-hmm.
How do I say? You don't have to be the strongest to get respected as a human. But that was not the case in Manila at that time, as far as I remember. So a lot of traumatic moments where
To summarize, you did not live up to their expectations of you because you went there. They thought you were some kind of a K-pop. You had to remain popular and cool, but your intentions were not like that. Your intentions were studying hard, proving yourself, and preparing yourself for another, for another step of your life, or for another stage of your life.